I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm obsessed with the new red chimichurri. It's like fresh and bright, very tangy. 10 out of 10 flavor.
When the Roman legions crushed the army of Queen Zenobia outside Antioch in 272 CE, her generals expected execution. Instead, they watched their queen endure something far more calculated. Rome had perfected the art of breaking rulers without killing them, transforming defiant monarchs into living monuments to imperial power. For women who wore crowns, defeat meant facing a brutality designed not merely to punish, but to erase dignity itself. Roman law denied queens legal protection. Under Roman law, war captives existed in a category that stripped them of every protection afforded to citizens. The principle known as jus gentium, or the law of nations, held that military defeat transformed free people into property. Once a city fell or an army surrendered, its inhabitants became legally enslaved regardless of their former status. A queen commanded no more legal standing than the lowest soldier in her defeated army. This legal framework created a terrifying reality. Roman citizens possessed rights that shielded them from certain punishments. To flog a Roman citizen was considered scandalous. To execute one without trial sparked outrage. But foreign captives, regardless of royal blood, held no such protections. They could be mistreated, displayed, sold, or killed at the discretion of their captors. Roman law made no exceptions for gender, and none for nobility. The 12 Tables, Rome's earliest legal code from the 5th century BCE, established these principles with brutal clarity. Prisoners taken in war became the property of the Roman state or were distributed among soldiers. Women of royal lineage discovered that their former power meant nothing once chains replaced their crowns. Tacitus documented this legal reality when he described the treatment of defeated British royalty, noting that Roman officials showed no hesitation in violating those who had once commanded armies and administered justice. Female captives faced additional vulnerability. Roman military culture, forged through centuries of conquest, regarded captured women as spoils of war. While some elite prisoners might be housed in relative comfort pending ransom or political negotiation, most faced immediate degradation. The line between prisoner of war and slave existed only on paper. In practice, defeat dissolved all former status, leaving captive queens vulnerable to treatment that would have been unthinkable had they possessed a Roman citizenship. Royal prisoners displayed in Roman triumphs. The Roman triumph transformed military victory into public spectacle, and captive royalty served as the centerpiece of these elaborate processions. When a general received permission from the Senate to celebrate a triumph, preparations began for a display that would parade Rome's dominance through the streets for all to witness. The route stretched from the Field of Mars through the Forum and up to the Capitoline Hill, covering nearly 4 kilometers of crowded thoroughfares. These processions followed a carefully choreographed order designed to maximize psychological impact. Musicians and entertainers led the parade, followed by carts bearing paintings and models of conquered cities and distant lands. Wild animals from exotic territories were led in chains, offering Romans a glimpse of the unknown world their legions had subdued. Then came the prisoners of war, walking in shackles at the heart of the spectacle. Captured rulers marched at the front of the prisoner column, their royal garments often left intact to emphasize the magnitude of their fall. Queens who had commanded armies now shuffled in chains before crowds that jeered and celebrated their humiliation. The contrast was deliberate. By displaying monarchs in their full regalia while bound and powerless, Rome communicated a message that resonated far beyond the city walls. No kingdom stood beyond reach. No throne guaranteed safety. The triumphal procession served multiple purposes beyond celebration. It demonstrated Roman military might to potential allies and enemies alike. It satisfied the bloodlust of citizens who craved visible proof of victory, and it provided a stage for the systematic degradation of those who had dared resist Roman expansion. For female captives of royal blood, the triumph meant enduring the gaze of thousands while stripped of all dignity. The journey typically took an entire day, with the procession moving slowly to allow spectators along the route to observe every detail. Captive queens walked this gauntlet, knowing their fate hung in the balance. Some would survive the day, others would not see sunset. The uncertainty itself served as torture, forcing the defeated to contemplate their approaching doom with every step through streets lined with celebrating Romans. Zenobia marched through Rome in gold chains. Queen Zenobia of Palmyra had carved out an empire that stretched from Egypt to Anatolia, challenging Roman authority across the east. When Emperor Aurelian finally crushed her forces in 272 CE and captured the queen as she fled toward Persia, he gained more than a military victory. He acquired the perfect symbol for his upcoming triumph. The Historia Augusta, a collection of imperial biographies written in the 4th century, provides detailed descriptions of Zenobia's appearance in Aurelian's triumphal procession of 274 CE. The account, likely drawing on eyewitness testimony, describes a spectacle designed to overwhelm observers with its opulence and cruelty. Zenobia was adorned with jewels that caught the sunlight, transforming her into a glittering monument to Rome's power over the wealthiest kingdoms of the East. But it was the chains that drew the most attention. These were not simple iron shackles meant merely to restrain. Zenobia walked bound in heavy golden chains, so massive that guards marched beside her to help bear their weight. The choice of gold was deliberate. These chains symbolized the very wealth she had commanded, now turned into the instrument of her bondage. Her entire person had become a walking display of conquered riches. Ancient sources note that Zenobia maintained remarkable composure throughout the ordeal. Despite the weight of the golden chains and the hours of slow marching through hostile crowds, she carried herself with dignity. This very defiance may have saved her life. Impressed perhaps by her bearing or calculating that her continued existence served his purposes better than her death, spared Zenobia the execution that awaited most captive rulers. Instead, the emperor granted her a villa near Rome, where she lived out her remaining years. Some accounts claim she married a Roman senator and became part of aristocratic society, her daughters marrying into noble families. Whether this represented mercy or a more subtle form of humiliation remains debated. Zenobia spent her final decades as a living reminder of Rome's power. Her presence in Italian society a constant demonstration that even the mightiest queens could be reduced to Roman dependence. Boudicca's daughters publicly abused by legionaries. In 60 CE, when King Prasutagus of the Iceni died, he left a will designed to protect his kingdom and family. He bequeathed half his territory to Emperor Nero and half to his 2 daughters, hoping this compromise would preserve Iceni independence while satisfying Roman demands. The strategy failed catastrophically. Roman officials, led by the imperial procurator Decianus Cattus, ignored the will entirely. They seized all Iceni lands and property, declaring the entire kingdom forfeit. When Queen Boudica protested this violation, she faced punishment that demonstrated how little protection royal status afforded defeated rulers. Tacitus, whose father-in-law Agricola served in Britain during this period, recorded what followed with unusual directness for ancient historians discussing such matters. Boudica was publicly subjected to corporal punishment. The flogging alone represented a profound violation. To beat a Roman citizen required legal justification and procedural safeguards. To flog a queen of an allied kingdom constituted an act of deliberate humiliation. But the Romans went further. Boudica's daughters, likely teenagers and certainly unmarried, were violated by Roman soldiers. Tacitus describes these assaults with sparse language that conveys his own horror at events that violated even Roman sensibilities about acceptable conduct.
Shopping for tires used to really grind my gears. That's before I went to TireRack.com. I got the best deal hands down. TireRack even gave me 2 years of...
The historian notes that Boudica was flogged and her daughters violated, placing these crimes at the center of his explanation for the rebellion that followed. The abuse was not random violence, but calculated degradation, designed to break the royal family and demonstrate Roman dominance over the Iceni. The public nature of these crimes multiplied their impact. This was not violence committed in secret, but humiliation performed before the Iceni people. By abusing the royal family in front of their subjects, Roman officials sent a message about the fate awaiting those who questioned imperial authority. The physical abuse and violation of Boudica and her daughters were meant to terrorize an entire population into submission. The strategy backfired spectacularly. Rather than crushing resistance, the abuse of the royal family ignited a rebellion that nearly drove Rome from Britain. Boudica raised an army that destroyed 3 Roman cities, including Londinium, massacring tens of thousands of Roman citizens and their allies. Tacitus preserves a speech he attributes to Boudica, in which she declares that she fights not as a queen seeking to preserve her kingdom, but as a woman avenging her abused body and the violated honor of her daughters. The rebellion ended in defeat at an unknown battlefield, where Roman discipline and tactical positioning overcame the far larger British forces. Tacitus claims Boudica poisoned herself rather than face capture. The fate of her daughters goes unrecorded. They vanish from historical accounts after the initial violation, their stories lost to silence. Execution after triumphs ended. As triumphal processions wound through Rome toward the Capitoline Hill, captive rulers knew their journey might end at the Mamertine prison, known in Latin as the Tullianum. This ancient structure, built into the northeastern slope of the Capitoline, served as the final stop for Rome's most notable enemies. While the triumph continued to the Temple of Jupiter, where the victorious general would make offerings.
Josh, what is going on?
Execution. The Tullianum consisted of...
I've been seeing your commercials.
The lower dungeon, accessible only through a hole in the ceiling, became the execution chamber. Here, in darkness and filth,
I've been seeing now. I just got one for Tire Rack commercial.
executed by suffocation.
How you doing?
Were left to starve. The process remained deliberately hidden from public view, occurring while crowds celebrated on the streets above. Vercingetorix, the Gallic chieftain who had unified the tribes of Gaul against
Too little, too late.
exemplified this fate. After his defeat at Alesia in 52 BCE,
Man, I was sick as a dog last night.
before finally parading him through Rome in the triumph.
Sneezing, coughing, watery eyes, the whole.
Had deteriorated during his captivity until he appeared as a broken figure before the Roman crowd.
Oh,
After the procession, he was
Good.
led to the Tullianum and executed. Jugurtha, king of
Well, maybe we'll see you.
similarly brutal end following Marius's triumph in 104 BCE. According to ancient accounts, when he was lowered into the Tullianum's lower chamber, the king went mad with terror. He was left to starve to death over 6 days, his cries echoing through the stone walls while Rome celebrated above. The historian Plutarch recorded his final words, reportedly asking in delirium how cold this Roman bath is. Simon Bar Giora, a leader of the Jewish revolt that ended...
I don't know what I'm doing yet.
...was displayed in Titus's triumph.
I don't want to get down there and get sick.
At the traditional site in the forum.
So we'll see.
Josephus documented how the triumphal
Kind of bum of the weather today.
while messengers awaited word that the execution
Good.
had been carried out. Only after
Yeah, there's no need of that.
leader's death did the ceremonies conclude. Not every captive ruler faced immediate execution. The decision rested with the
I mean, this ain't 1940, for Christ's sakes.
with the emperor himself.
Having people work in that kind of weather.
Serving as permanent symbols of Roman victory or as bargaining tools in future negotiations. for death, the Triumph offered only a temporary reprieve before the descent into the Tullianum's darkness. The treatment of
Well, I hope you're happy
Roman soldiers
with
reveals
this
how
next
power
one.
operated in the ancient world. Legal
What a
systems
day here. We lost power.
at the boundary of conquest. Dignity afforded to nobility dissolved.
Leslie and Backwoods are flooding like you wouldn't believe.
And other ancient historians force us to confront the deliberate cruelty embedded in Roman conquest. The flogging of Boudica, the golden chains on Zenobia, the executions following triumphs were not aberrations, but calculated policies designed to break resistance and display power. Take a moment to consider how the systematic humiliation
Yeah, I know.
of defeated royalty shaped the fears that kept
I just wish it was snow.
for centuries. The stone
It's a
walls
mud
of
pit here now.
still stand in Rome. A reminder that the triumphs celebrated in ancient texts were built
I really didn't think we were going to get enough rain to melt all this snow.
Their degradation transformed
Or the snow I had here anyway.
the cost of empire written in broken lives and stolen dignity.
Well, at least you didn't float away today. I was just telling Josh about your flooding going on in Oregon. It ain't letting up. Just got in. A long day. Well, they ain't got rain. They got flooding, man. Pretty bad. Friggin' houses, bridges washing away. I seen Paris did a video of all her chemtrails. Well, let me say we want some quicks. Tell us a story. I haven't seen it yet, so I figured we save it for the night.
Today's video may be one of the most difficult I've ever made because it's about a poem that is such an amazing feat of human achievement. It's nearly unbelievable. It's actually very difficult to describe the greatness of this poem, not just because it was written well over 1,000 years before I was born in a language I don't understand, but because a full explanation of the entire poem practically might as well be impossible. It's been studied for over 1,000.
I rested today. I'm feeling okay.
Still hiding secrets.
I still feel like this thing could bust out again.
Century Chinese poet Su Hui. Although it's frequently called the Stargate, its actual name is Chuanjie Tu, which roughly means chart of the celestial pivot, and is
these
thought
were
to be a
good.
reference to the rotating center of
I forgot what the name of these things are.
This is an armillary sphere. If you didn't know, it's an astronomical.
You need to show them your license to buy them.
It's hard to know where to start when it comes to describing this poem, and you'll soon understand why. Written during the chaotic 16 Kingdoms period of 4th century China, there are many
You gonna make dinner
variations of
now?
the story of how this poem came to be, so no one really knows the truth. But the basic gist is that Su Hui had a husband who went away, perhaps on official business, perhaps in exile. He soon found a new lover, the Hooer, and when Su Hui found out, she wrote her Stargate poem in heartbroken sorrow. I say wrote, but it was actually shuttle woven on brocade, before being sent to her husband, who was so touched by the amazing poem that he cast off the shackles of sluttery and returned to Su Hui. It's unknown how much of that was really true, but the words of the poem would make sense in that context. So now let's get into why the poem is so mind-bogglingly awesome. The poem appears as a 29 by 29 grid of 841 characters. Here has simplified Chinese characters, and here's the original traditional characters. Not that it makes much of a difference to me. Yes, the colors of the characters are actually important, because immersing yourself in the emotion of this art is less like reading a poem and more like trying to solve a never-ending puzzle. You see, the Stargate is not actually a poem. It's a text.
I got James Freeman next.
Thousands of poems, because it can be read in thousands of different ways. Horizontally, vertically, diagonally. You can read it forward or in reverse, in a spiral or zigzag, and the poems are all different, although they all make sense in the context of Su Hui's longing for her husband. It would be virtually impossible to design a similar puzzle poem in English for a number of reasons. In Chinese, a character represents not just a word.
Well, maybe you can get some rest
and a selection of words, depending on the context of the sentence it appears in. Also, in English grammar, the sequence of words carries meaning. So rearranging just a couple of words can turn a sentence into complete nonsense. While Chinese grammar is much more.
We took 2 walks this week.
Meaning it's much easier to craft sentences.
One down to the waterfall.
Multiple orders. The problem is, some of these characters can have dozens of potential meanings. So trying to
watched
interpret a poem from the Stargate can be quite difficult. And scholars have spent 1,600 years studying not just different poems found in the text, but different patterns and
this guy,
for finding new ones.
and I don't have the video, I'd send it to you. MJ, you lost your ability to read Chinese. It's pretty incredible story. There's thousands of poems on this one grid. Did you get my email about your fire danger? That's fucking nuts. It's December. Oh, Josh, we played one this morning, Sebago Lake, 176 foot. 2 guys who were riding on a snowmobile went through the ice. And they got the 71-year-old diver to go down that far and hook it up. And they got the snowmobile back. It's one of the few travel videos that we find in Maine. No idea about the fire situation, MJ?
We can break them down into 7 character lines. Choose a starting place, read a line, choose a direction, read another line, and so on.
No
until
way.
You have 4 lines. With the right interpretation, it actually rhymes. Then, if we take this black segment in the top right, a line is only 3 characters, and the poem length is either 6 or 12 lines. Once again, it rhymes. As you can see, the rules for constructing poems differ between color segments, but the Stargate didn't come with instructions. These are just patterns that scholars discovered. It's thought there are around 8,000 possible poems in the Stargate, but who knows for sure. So what are the poems like? Well, my Chinese is, let's just say, limited. 现在我有冰淇淋. And I don't think there actually is a comprehensive English translation of the full text. So I've just done my best sourcing a handful of different parts, but I can't speak as to their accuracy. Your lovely figures often occur in my mind. Your lovely images make me dream this fantastic poem. With this poem, I express my inner bitterness. With its magic, I release my boudoir plaint. Justice and morality are
And
worshipped in the
cartoonish.
glorious Tang dynasty.
These
Ability
actors
and
are fake.
contribution are respected in the enlightened
He
age.
writes his own
A good horse
cartoons.
needs a good saddle. A good bird selects its nesting place. From beginning to end, dazzling my gaze, tangled stories flourish. Wild and autumn-pitched, wanton songs of China's Southland resound. Thoughts shared in song. Nothing but this empty room of a heart.
Thoughts.
Sorrow swells such longing. All this grief-wounded love.
Then they're
Alas,
real.
I sigh with languor over the one who wandered
Yeah.
away, far off the wilderness path.
Yeah, that'd be good.
My innermost feelings. The house no longer has a master. Transparent curtains in the alcove. The face equally adorned. The bright mirror shines forth. Ornaments of multiple reflections. The pearls gleam.
Mushrooms are real. Yeah, MJ's micro-dosing his dad.
Honored there. In reverse,
We never
this can
heard
be
how it was
interpreted
going.
as follows. To whom does the honor revert for prompting so many thoughts? Brilliant the splendor of the pearls, reflections of multiple ornaments. Luminous the mirror shines.
This guy
elegant
finds
finery
an
of the
incredible deep
face,
story
room of
each week.
transparent curtains who no longer have a home.
Yeah.
Feeling of a deep wound, the path disappears into the wilderness. The way withdraws from here. The languishing I sigh.
I should go
Alas.
pull some off the magic bush.
I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm with you.
You're gonna do a Neil Diamond show? The Neil Diamond Experience this Christmas. Celebrate the
Wow.
My Chinese-speaking comrades can correct me in the comments or add their own translations. It's a shame there isn't an interactive app with translations for each path, but I'd imagine there would be a fairly phenomenal amount of work in that, unless you crowdsourced interpretations like Genius does for song lyrics. Speaking of phenomenal amounts of work, let's appreciate that Su Hui designed the Stargate in the 4th century. I mean, how could you make this without any sort of computer assistance? It's like poetry Sudoku on steroids or something. There
Yeah.
are poems in English where the form is as much an art as the poetry itself, but the closest thing to Su Hui's Stargate is probably this 1597 poem by English poet Henry Locke in honor of Queen Elizabeth I. It's designed to be read in multiple parts that include St. George's Cross and St. Andrew's Cross, a real patriotic poem. But there's really only a handful of results in comparison to the Stargate's thousands. And
I
any
just
way you
think,
read it doesn't result in
like
a
you said,
very inspired poem.
putting up
Locke's work was
walls
not held
on
to
that
very high
outside
regard. And maybe the poems yielded
would
by the
change
Stargate aren't all that
the
impressive
whole
to fluent
atmosphere
Chinese
there.
speakers. English
You know what I mean?
translations didn't sound that bad to me. But
That's
translating
pretty
poetry
low life.
is somewhat of a fool's errand. If you don't understand a poem the way it was written, then you'll never really get it. But there is one thing about the Stargate that did really resonate with me despite the language barrier. You see, the center character in the Stargate is Xin, meaning heart or mind or inner feeling. Being the center character, you
Yeah.
could say the rest of the text, especially the
Do it now
circle,
while you can.
revolves around it like an armillary sphere. But apparently, not every reproduction of the Stargate through the centuries featured this center character, and it's not known for sure if the original had it or not. So even though it's commonly accepted the poems all revolve around the word heart, it's possible it was blank in Su Hui's version. As
Yeah,
if
we've been
her
seeing
heart was
your
absent when she wrote her poems,
advertisement
but
quite
time
often.
gave it back to her. One interesting piece of poetry. It's a shame
They're
I'll
spending
probably
money
never
on
be able to
advertisement.
appreciate it in the same way that anyone can appreciate.
And like
the
you said, I can't call
Iliad,
your
because
place.
you're
I
more
got to call the
interested in
800
epic
number.
story it tells than the line-to-line poetry. I think I've only covered poetry in one other video, and that was about a poet who's regarded as one of the worst of all time. My other videos are also interesting, though, and of course, my speech is always highly poetical.
Oh,
And anyone who disagrees is a big knobhead. So watch them videos, subscribe to see more in the future, join the channel membership
Hi,
to
me
support
need
me with
tire.
money, and until next time, stay safe. Lovely figures often occur.
He did one that was so fucking crazy.
It's fantastic.
A brewery where they make whiskey caught fire in England. The barrel in Ireland, the barrels started breaking. Whiskey was running down the street, but it was on fire, and people were drinking the fucking the whiskey. Did you see this one, Leslie?
Dear Acorns, I was 19 when I got pregnant. I worked 3 jobs at once to keep us afloat. I never thought I could afford to invest until I found Acorns. My name is Karen Thompson.
We're gonna go watch a Karen. Oh, I watched that Ozzy, man, if anyone cares. And it was just about the shooting shit. So I call it the Pam Bondi beach exercise. Come on, man. What are you doing? More drama, yeah. Yeah, I was watching, somebody was covering them. Someone was, oh, Candace Owen was going to town with them.
There's this guy out of the watchdog. He goes around to different cities in Texas holding signs. Some of them are just goofy. Some of them have cuss words on them. Most of them criticize government. There's usually something more behind what he's doing, but the signs grab your attention, and you walk up and ask. I want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. I'm curious. I'm protesting the police. A few years ago, I came back from a cross-country camping trip with my children. But we'll get into the why in another video. Today, I want to talk about the people in the United States of America that believe that if you have a message that they don't agree with, that you should be violently attacked. A few weeks ago, I followed Otto around in multiple different towns in Texas while he held up his signs, and I went around interviewing random people, asking them what they thought of it. Out of 4 cities and towns that we went to, there was only one where multiple people thought that Otto should be violently attacked for his verbal and written message. Grand Saline, Texas. These are real Americans, and their real raw reactions to their government being criticized with words that they don't approve.
It's amazing.
First, there was this woman who was driving by, saw Otto's sign, and decided she should pull over and let Otto know that somebody should bust him in the mouth. Me being the piece of shit that I am, egged her on. That's illegal, you dumb. It's illegal, you dumb.
Doing what she's doing. The cops saying pull her over, see if she's drunk.
Okay, sure. I'll put that sign away and hold it. We needed better audio, so I picked up a microphone and ran up to be on her side. How about this way? Oh, I'm the best citizen that has ever existed. Thank you. I'm the best citizen that's ever existed.
Anyway,
I promise you, if I see the kids.
how's everything going at your place?
Sure.
Your home? Everything good? Kids getting excited?
That's ridiculous.
I know, I said he's an idiot. I have a sign that says he is an idiot.
I wish somebody would come bust you right in the mouth and I'll cry.
Yeah.
Well, good, they do too.
I agree. You think somebody should violently attack him for his words?
I really do.
Yeah. We should, that's what America's built on, right? Violently attacking people for their words, right?
I don't want to violently attack you.
You just want...
want them to stop.
Oh, no, Ken.
My grandchildren are driving by seeing that.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what's up?
Yeah.
You know what? I worked 9 years for the city of
I don't know why we still do that, though.
What is this?
I used to drive my grandfather nuts. I said, Grandpa,
I said he's an idiot.
how couldn't Santa Claus
He is an idiot.
get down all these chimneys all over the world?
Somebody should come up and bust him in the face.
Oh, that's good. I just didn't believe it. And when I was really young and drove them nuts,
Yeah.
not that I was trying, I was just trying to get an answer.
Yeah. Are you glad somebody busted him in the neck for his words? No? But you want this guy busted in the face for his words, right? But do you think Charlie Kirk deserved to get busted in the neck for his words? But he deserves to. But you just said that you hope somebody comes and busts this guy in the face for his words.
Is James still holding on to it? Or is James already grown out of it?
He's an idiot. He's offending our children.
Do you have any idea how many cameras recorded you coming up here and saying that he should be busted in the face?
What about you? What about what you just said?
What?
Same thing.
What?
I'm not saying it.
I love the mayor so much. She can do anything she wants to do, and if you don't like it, you love me. And if anything, he is an idiot. He's an idiot.
A couple of years ago.
No, I don't support it. But you're the one.
Well, I
that
guess
said
it can
he should
be.
I just said he is an idiot.
I guess it can be kind of rewarding
You think he
for
should
the
somebody should
the
violently attack
parents.
him for his words? No, you specifically said.
I just couldn't under. It was just like what was his name, Adam and Eve, and I really didn't know about sex or procreation. But how can you put two people on the planet and have all these people out of two people? It'd be incest.
What is the law? Yeah.
Who is in charge of taking people like him off the street when they do idiotic things like that?
Okay.
Then a local citizen who came up and tried to explain free speech.
Yeah. How are you? We're just getting an interview with this lady. She thinks this guy should be busted in the face.
Oh no, kidding. Tell her Ralph says you'll be all right. That's
I assure you, your kids and grandkids are safe every day. By about the age of 10 to 12, your kids and grandkids, as soon as you get out of church, are
What we have to do, as you said, is an opportunity to explain to them what our forefathers.
I don't know what the weather's supposed to be. My computer's saying rain tomorrow. It was supposed to be clear. We've got a bad mud pit here.
But I really don't keep up in their politics and all their stupid stuff.
It's not even
Not as bad as Leslie and Backwoods, but pretty bad.
Well, they moved down the road.
They do this every
We do it at the
We had some gusts here. I would say up near 45, 55 mile an hour.
we can talk about it.
Yeah, you do that.
What's going on?
You shouldn't have no trouble.
I wouldn't go out for mayor. I wouldn't want
I wouldn't do it.
That's pretty sad, though. They're still doing that shit.
I understand your point of
Unreal.
and everything, but like I said, use it as
Oh,
a
wow.
teaching tool to your grandkids because listen, they're not.
Make sure it's a drug test and not a DNA sample like I had done.
As they can get us. Period. The dumber we are, the easier it is to overtake all of us. And I get it. I get what you're saying, but I'll send you some links of James, Otto, Sean. There's so many of them, and at first, when I first
downtown Waterville.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
That's picture perfect. With places to find gifts, bites to read, and enjoy so much of what makes the holiday
But there's no way to click on this. And there's a thing called Holy Cannoli. Maybe I'll go there someday.
several years ago, I was like,
I really don't go into downtown Waterville.
but the more
Even when I was looking for
I
work,
dug into it and researched it,
it looked like parking would have been a problem. Back then I had Buddy with me.
No, not at all. It was just that you said, you did say, look, we don't
Yeah, I don't think there's even a lot of THC in that myself.
and I don't think
That's my belief.
I wish somebody would come nice and ride them out and all the crowd. Well, good, they do too.
I agree. You think somebody should violently attack him for his words?
I really do. You asked me what I thought. I said I wish I could.
I don't need to look. It's not. It's neither here nor there. No, I don't think that
Beg to
anybody should
differ.
be violently attacked for their words.
Oh, I don't know much about it, but
Like those words out on the street like that, just
Well, a lot of people didn't like Charlie
San
Kirk's words.
Antonio and all that stuff.
You realize a lot of people didn't like Charlie Kirk's words, right? A lot of people. And that was the whole point. It was like, hey, you got a message that I don't agree with. What am I
we got
in the face, I'm gonna in the neck, you know?
we got New Year's coming up.
If you change the wording,
More than likely, I'll probably go live.
But again, it's the very first of the Bill of Rights is freedom of speech. And if you take that away, what's next? I mean, what's next?
I was really hoping that it wouldn't be here at the Soul Palace. I did a lot of work here in the years in the 90s. You know. He really is.
he is a
You believe this woman just gonna sit here and argue with them pot crooked in the road?
They see those words on
What a trip.
people are what?
They get violent. They see the words on signs.
Yeah, people got violent when they heard Charlie Kirk's words too, right? So does that mean we should stop expressing our opinions?
Can they just change corners and move over there and get off the Soul Palace corners?
Well, they're on the public easement though. You ever flipped anybody off before though?
Not in a long time.
Have you ever cussed at anybody? Do you cuss yourself? Not at all.
No, I can't say that because I think y'all made me think of that when I first.
You think what?
I think you made that when I first pulled up. I thought you said something wrong.
So she does admit that she uses the same words that Otto's using right now, but it's never her fault. She only does it when other people make her do it. Well done, Grandma. You're about 75 years old. Learn to take responsibility for your own words and actions. This old lady was so worried about little kids driving by and getting triggered, but no little kids were triggered, only she was. So we asked this little girl what she thinks Grandma should do about Otto's offensive signs.
What about you? You try. What about you? Won't die.
What do you think of the signs?
With their booties holding that up out there.
What's that?
They need their booties whipped.
Who do you think should whip them?
I could if they hit me.
Yeah? You think they should be physically attacked?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They're attacking the police is fair.
Oh my gosh. Hey, what does the sign say?
Help the mayor and help the police and all that. That's very disrespectful.
So you think that they should be violently attacked?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They would ride by here with their kids in the car and they see them signs.
Yeah.
It's not very disrespectful.
How much do you think that they should be violently attacked? Like, should they just be punched in the face, or do you think they should be, like, tripped, or, like, pushed down, or
Be locked up
locked up? Like in a cage?
in jail, in a cage, wherever.
In a cage or a jail? Should they be shot?
No,
No? Okay, so just caging?
Yeah.
How long should they be caged for?
30 days.
30 days for, and what specifically for? For like the words, for like criticizing?
These are people
the mayor?
making you lost. I gotta piss off the porch. I'll be back.
Oh, they're saying the F word to other people too. So they should be put in jail for 30 days for saying the F word to people, and for
Hit by a
criticizing the
train.
mayor, and for criticizing the police. They
Well, I
should be in
never
jail
been hit
for-
by a train.
What should they do at the meeting?
Get something exaggerated.
What do you mean?
Explain why stuff's not being done in this town.
Oh, okay. So they should go to the meeting instead of coming out here and saying the words that they're saying. Okay. So there's a way to do it, is what you're saying. And so they should go to. You think they should vote?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to the meeting and vote.
Yeah.
So if he's offended that you like cops, should he be able to put you in jail for 30 days? Why not?
Because
Because why?
I ain't out there doing that kind of stuff right there.
What kind of stuff?
Sign, holding up them signs.
Okay. So as long as you keep your opinion secret, you should be able to stay free. But if you express your opinion for others to hear and see, you should go to jail for 30 days.
Yeah, pray to me.
Were you born in North Korea?
No,
Okay. You just
West Dallas.
West Dallas. Okay.
Alabama State.
All right. So West Dallas it seems is pretty similar mindset to North Korea, though, right?
Yes.
Kim Jong.
Step into a new 2026 Sportage and set out on your next adventure from Charlie's Kia. Wherever the road takes you, Sportage offers the perfect blend of performance, capability, technology, and comfort with class-leading cargo room and second-row legroom. Embrace the journey in a Kia Sportage. Click now to view our inventory during the season of new traditions.
To uncover the secrets of Atlantis. Some legends are destined to be retold.
Kim Jong Un is a good friend of mine. I was an advisor of his for 15 years, and I don't like his opinion either. I think he needs to go to jail, but I also don't like police. So I think you guys both need to be in jail. Community service. So you would do community service instead of jail. Do you think that he should be given the option to do community service instead of jail? Yeah. Could he have random people come into this parking lot, wash their car, and call that community service? Talking to the elderly would be. I mean, there's a lot of elderly people that don't have company. So giving people company that don't have company would be a good community service thing. There's actually probably a lot of single men around here that don't get. Do you think that could be considered a good community service? Or do you think that should be allowed? How many do you think it should take to pay off 30 days in jail?
Well, I shouldn't be doing that.
So you say 2 to pay off 30 days in jail would be appropriate. So we got one lady that thinks that he should be busted in the mouth. And another lady that thinks he should either be violently attacked, taken to jail for 30 days, or have to submit to this. So you say 2 to pay off 30 days in jail would be appropriate. What do you think of their signs?
I don't know, bad. I don't know, bad cops are do everything and translate bad cops. They advertise all that.
Yeah. Really? Are you laughing? Are you laughing a little bit? Are you a little amused? In Grand Saline, there were also a number of people who were in such support of Otto that they came out and actually held his signs with him. Hey, what's up? Seeing you somewhere. Maybe in jail. Have you ever been in jail before? Several times. We might have shared a cell together. Do you remember being bottom?
Pissing off the porch.
Yeah. I'm from Grand Saline. I hate this place. Yeah. Ask me about being in jail. Yeah. Tony Township. Really? For what? Everything. Like what? Math? And one guy that made his own sign that said he is a idiot to hold next to anybody who had cuss words on their sign.
Oh, no way. See, you can get people to get involved. You children. You children are watching movies that would have been off limits for me when I was their age. Whatever.
Okay, so it's not about the criticism of the mayor and what's like about the cops. It's the cuss words. Okay, I appreciate it, man. What is your sign to say? Fuck bad cops. Why? Because they shouldn't even be employed. Why? If you are a bad cop, or like you're breaking the law, you should be prosecuted and arrested. In jail? Okay. And a good cop would see a bad cop breaking the law and arrested that cop. A good cop would see a bad cop and arrested that cop. Okay. I don't see that at all. Okay. What do you think of that? This is a microphone. That's okay. I think it is. Okay. But because of that, we got to stop. Okay. So children, community. So you might agree with screw bad cops, maybe? I don't agree with that. What? My opinion don't matter. Okay. So you don't have any opinion one way or another about bad cops? Okay, cuss words gone, but bad cops. think we should put them in jail? Do you think they should do community service? Whatever the judge says. Well, in the 1970s, the Supreme Court judges ruled that offensive speech is protected speech, and the whole point of protecting speech is to protect offensive speech. It wasn't just about trying to protect popular speech. No one's going to try to silence popular speech. More importantly, the First Amendment was about protecting unpopular speech, dissenting speech, speech that most people will disagree with and try to silence. What this young man did.
I had a 1990 Toyota pickup, but it was rolled over. I got it cheap. And I did real nice camouflage paint job on it. In the back, I took a 2-inch brush, dunked it in red paint, and wrote Waco on it. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that were beeping and supporting that. James Freeman, he's pretty cool.
So if the judge says it's okay. Okay, fair enough. Seem like a logical man. I appreciate you giving your perspective, man. You seem like a logical man too, with a bad word on your side. Seems like two pretty decent guys here with some different opinions. Does anybody think that anybody should be violently attacked for their different opinion? No? 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 So you don't think you should violently attack him? But what if the police said that his sign was wrong? Then should the police be able to get him? I don't know the law. It's my opinion that whether you violently attack someone yourself or ask the state to do it for you, it's the same. Don't ask the government to do something it wouldn't be okay for you to do.
It is the fact that kids can read, and they're coming by here seeing that, and that's not something I think children should see.
What town is this again?
This is Grand Saline.
And you think kids in Grand Saline can read? Is that what you said?
I know that.
I'm just kidding. Sorry. Okay. All right. So your problem is just the customers.
I have no problem with free speech. You have a right to say whatever you want. People will fought for that. My people have fought for it. However, when it goes overboard, in my opinion, in front of children who can read these signs, I think it's wrong.
Isn't it funny how they always talk about children? Give the kid a fucking cell phone when they're 4 years old. Watching crazy shit. Mind screw shit.
Do you think it should be illegal to display cuss words?
I don't think it should be illegal. I think people should be intelligent enough to.
Even Popeye was a bad deal. Thank Leslie for that one.
Should step in and stop them. You just think that they should make a decision on their own not to do it? Okay.
Yeah, it's an adult decision.
Well, Leslie. I don't know if I still got that Popeye one. Well. Looks like you and I. Dog is singing. Nah, it's all right. I really miss Buddy singing. And I don't think Buddy ever heard Santana, believe it or not. I've seen Santana, I think, 3 times. One time, I think he had Billy Preston. Yeah, you can watch it on the BitChute, but something happened on BitChute. I had downloaded 3 videos or 4 videos, and there's only one real short one. That's how we would start. And he would howl and raise the roof. That's weird. I already gave this guy a thumbs up. I can't believe this guy looks pretty young listening to Santana. That was a good album, Abraxas. And then I got the ear one. Well, we were here. I think we went up to 6 people. Only one time. Lady sang one time. Breaking news. What's this all about? Like I asked, I didn't see if MJ answered me. I sent him an email today. Oh, yeah, they killed like 16. The Jews killed like 16 children today in fucking tents. It's probably the outlet you plug into. You got to be real careful plugging a phone in. Terrible. They had flooding there. 60-mile-an-hour winds blowing tents apart. A lot of babies died from exposure. Zelensky, a talented artist. Putin. Gun grab. Here you go. You're going to buy it guns now. They don't have these guns there. After the, like that's going to solve an issue. Kind of really fucked up blaming. Yeah. China sues U.S. state over COVID coronavirus allegations. Missouri. Chinese seeking damage after Missouri won a 2.4 coronavirus related court ruling against it. Japan's asking for nukes. And that's about it from RT. Well, I guess I'll see you in the morning. Fuck it all, Friday night ain't going too well. Oh man, itchy eyes, runny nose, not too bad. Yeah, maybe. No, I gotta get something together. I gotta get something together here. I don't know what to do. I want a new stove next year. Well, we got an hour in. We held the door. Got 3 thumbs up. I'll see you in the morning. I've been leaving these up, by the way. Sometimes we get like 12 or 14 when I shut it down. And then a couple days later, I look and there's like a couple more. All right. Have a good night, partner. Thanks for coming, all of you. Hope you have a good night. And be good to yourself and others if you can. Isn't that weird? Like, especially on the long ones, I leave them up for 24 hours and we pick up a couple other people watching it. It was something you suggested, but they're still not opening the door for the room to be seen in public. You know, and the thing about that is it is public, so it ain't hidden, it ain't private, it ain't none of that. Oh well, we keep on marching. Maybe one day things will change around. You have a good night. Get some of that warm onion soup and a burger. That sounds delish. And we'll see you in the morning. Have a good night. Rain, snow, and sleet just came up on my goddamn computer now. No, let me go check the weather. I can't fucking believe this. Yeah. Yeah. Chance of rain, snow, then mostly cloudy. Tuesday and Tuesday night, snow. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. They're not gonna give me an inch amount. What day is Christmas? Rain. Yeah, well, that get me down. What day is Christmas? 24th. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, we'll see you in the morning. Have a good night. Have a good something to eat too. You've had a long day. We'll see you.